There's a question most people carry and almost nobody says out loud. Most people know what it feels like when that question will not let you sleep. When the room is dark and quiet and your mind is neither. When you are exhausted, but something keeps pulling you back. Not the specific worry, the feeling that has always been there, long before tonight, waiting for a quiet moment to surface. The feeling that the world is too large and too broken and too beautiful and too painful all at once. That bad things keep happening to people who do not deserve them. That you are doing everything right and it still does not feel like enough. That somewhere underneath the ordinary days, there is a question you have never been able to fully answer. Why is any of this happening? Not this specific thing, any of it. Why is there a world that contains everything it contains? The people you love, the things that take them, the wars, the ordinary Tuesday mornings, all of it, rather than just nothing. A physicist followed that question to the very bottom. What he found does not make the pain smaller, but it changes what the pain means. And that might be the most important thing anyone has ever found. A physicist at MIT named Max Tegmark has spent his career asking exactly that question, not as a philosopher, not as a priest, as a scientist with mathematics. And what he found is so strange, so far outside anything we were taught to expect, that it changes the question itself. Not just why does the universe exist, but what existence actually means. For the universe, for everything in it, for you. By the end of this video, the question you came in with will look completely different. Not answered, transformed. At some point, someone asked you, why? Not why do I have to go to bed, not why is the sky blue, the deeper why. Why are we here? Why does any of this exist? And the adult in the room said something like, that is just how it is, or nobody really knows, or changed the subject entirely. Because there was no answer. There has never been an answer. For the entire history of human civilization, every philosopher, every priest, every scientist who ever lived, nobody has been able to say with certainty why there is something rather than nothing. Until a physicist started following the mathematics further than anyone had gone, and found something nobody expected at the bottom. Here is where it starts. Think about the number 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That was true before humans existed, before the Earth existed. It will be true after the last star in the universe goes dark. Nobody invented that truth. Nobody created it. It simply is. It exists. Not in a book, not in a mind. It exists because it is true. Tegmark looked at that and asked, what if everything is like that? What if the universe is not described by mathematics? What if it is mathematics? Pure truth that exists for the same reason 2 plus 2 equals 4 exists. Not created, not designed, just true, and therefore real. Think about a piece of music, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. When nobody is playing it, no orchestra, no recording, does it exist? Most people say no, it only exists when someone plays it. But the mathematical structure of that symphony, the relationships between the notes, the patterns, how it unfolds, that structure exists whether anyone plays it or not. It cannot not exist. It is mathematically real. Tegmark says the universe is like that symphony, a mathematical structure that exists necessarily, not because something created it, because it is mathematically possible. And mathematical possibility, at the deepest level, is the same thing as existence. Here is the part that changes everything. If every mathematical structure that is possible exists, our universe is one of an infinite number of structures that all exist for exactly the same reason. Other universes, other histories, other versions of every choice you have ever made. All of them existing right now. Not somewhere out in space, but in the same way 2 plus 2 equals 4 exists, as mathematical truth. Which means every version of your life that could have gone differently, the roads you did not take, the people you almost became, they exist. All of them real, all of them happening right now, in structures as real as this one. You have thought about it. the road you did not take, the person you did not call, the choice you made differently in your head 1,000 times after making it, the version of your life that would have existed if one thing had gone differently. Tegmark says that version is not just in your imagination. It exists in a mathematical structure as real as this one. The version of you that made the other choice is living that life right now. And I know that is either the most consoling thing you have ever heard or the most overwhelming. Because it means everything you have ever felt about the roads not taken, that quiet grief of what might have been, was pointing at something real. But here is what changes everything about that. The existence of other versions of you does not make this version less real. It makes it more real. This specific version of you, with these losses, these loves, these ordinary Tuesday mornings, exists in only one mathematical structure. This one. This exact configuration of experience that is your life. Nowhere else in the infinite exists exactly this, which means every moment you have lived is not just real in the way we normally mean real. It is mathematically necessary. It could not have existed. You were always going to be here, not because it was fated, because the mathematics demanded it. Right now, people are watching the news and feeling something specific. The feeling that large forces are deciding things, that somewhere decisions are being made that will reach into their ordinary lives whether they choose them or not. The fuel price, the war, the thing that changed while they were sleeping. And underneath that feeling is the oldest question: does anything I do actually matter? If forces this large are determining everything, if the mathematics already contains every outcome, then what is the point of choosing, of trying, of caring about what happens next? Tegmark's answer is not what you expect. Yes, every mathematical structure that can exist does exist. Yes, every possible version of events is real somewhere. But you are not living somewhere. You are living here, in this specific structure, making choices that determine which version of this structure you inhabit. The mathematics does not make your choices irrelevant. It makes them permanent. Every choice you make, every act of care, every moment you show up for someone, every time you choose something difficult because it is right, is woven into the mathematical structure of this universe permanently. Not recorded somewhere, not remembered by someone, mathematically real, forever. The world burning somewhere right now, and the people helping in it, both permanent. You will still have nights when the question will not let you sleep, the room dark and quiet, and your mind still going. The feeling that the world is too large and too broken and too beautiful and too painful all at once. None of that changes because of what Tegmark found. But something shifts. When you know that every moment of this, the suffering and the beauty, the ordinary and the extraordinary, exists necessarily and permanently as part of a structure that could not exist. The question changes. Not why is there something rather than nothing, but what do I do with the something I have been given? Max Tegmark still follows the mathematics. He says the further he goes, the more certain he becomes of one thing. The universe did not need a reason to exist. It exists because existence, at the mathematical level, is simply what reality does when left to itself. And you are part of that, not accidentally, not temporarily, necessarily, permanently, really. The child asking why is part of it. The person lying awake at 3 a.m. is part of it. The moment you are in right now, whatever you are carrying, wherever you are, is part of it, and always will be.